Hi everyone. Now we are going to see about interpretation and report writing. So what do you mean by interpretation? After the data is collected and analyzed using several data analysis method, the next task is to draw inferences from this data. In other words, interpretation of data needs to be done so far to drive on certain conclusions, which is the whole purpose of the research study. Definition. Interpretation refers to the process of making sense of numerical data that has been collected, analyzed and presented. Now, need for interpretation. Maintaining continuity of research, pointers for further research, communicate significance of research, transition of exploratory research to experimental research. Next, we are going to see about the techniques of interpretation. The first one, explanation of relations which the researcher has found during the research study, interpretation of the lines of relationship in terms of the underlying process, finding thread of uniformity that lies beneath on the devised research findings and thereby forming generalization and theories. Techniques of interpretation. Again, the fourth one, extraneous information collected during the study must also be considered while interpreting the final result of research study, as it may be result in better understanding of the problem in hand. Consulting an expert having an insight of the research study who points out omissions and errors in logical argumentation which will result in correct interpretation and add to usefulness of the research results. All relevant factors affecting the problem must be considered before forming interpretation or generalizations. Otherwise, it may lead to incorrect conclusions. Precautions in interpretation. Ensure proper data collection. Second one, data analysis. Third one, errors can arise. Fourth one, result of hypothesis testing. Fifth one, statistical measures. Sixth one, avoid broad generalization. Seventh one, quality of interpretation. Difference between analysis and interpretation. Analysis helps in describing general trends in the data and difference and similarities among data points. Interpretation, on the other hand, relates the data to the objective of research. Explore relationship between multi-measures, qualifies and amplifies data, draw inferences and evaluates. Analysis is made on the basis of observed data to identify a pattern. This trend or pattern gives useful information about the design or system. Interpretation involves things like predicting the outcome, observing the output response, and associating meaning to that output. In other words, making the numerical data speak is the purpose of interpretation. Analysis is the information displayed after collecting data. Interpretation explains the reasons behind the trend or prevailing practice. For instance, deciphering the patterns of monsoon over several years refers to analysis. The reason behind this trend will be explained through interpretation. Research report writing. Now we are going to writing the research report is the last step of research process. First, research report is defined as a systematic, articulate and orderly presentation of research work in a written form. Research report is a research document that contains basic and important aspect of your research product. Content of research report. Description of events, facts discovered during investigation, description of procedures or analysis tools, references carefully documented, conclusion, results objectively recorded, recommendations or suggestions. Objectives of research report: to become familiar with the given subject and achieve new insights into it, to portray the exact features or nature of an individual, group or object, to determine the frequency with which something occurs or is associated with something else, to study and test the relationship between two or more variables. Characteristics of an ideal research report: proper title, relevant subheadings and paragraph divisions. The research report should be factful. The research report should relate to certain period. Research report should be clear, brief, concise. The reporting must be prompt, distinct between controllable and non-controllable factors. Characteristics of an ideal research report: appropriate remarks, periodically reviewed, permissible degree of inaccuracy, highlight important deviations from standard, visual reporting, comparison between comparable matters. Thank you.